It's 3 o'clock, and I'm calling to order the work session for the City of Sweet Home Library Board on November 13th, 2025.
I'll go ahead with roll call. Committee Member Castaneda. Board Member Corley.
Yep.
Board Member Wise. Vice Chair Hicks. Here. Chair Journey.
Present.
All right, so this is just a continuation of our last work session, and Karen can go ahead and switch chairs if she wants. So what I have for you on your table for the work session is just a list of properties that are in city limits that are for sale. I'm not making any judgment about them other than the size and the price. The main question I would like to have answered, even as we look at properties or other things, is do we want to think about a brand new build, which could be would obviously be more expensive, or looking at something that we would remodel, or something that we would add on to? So that's kind of the biggest question. I did, the school district, as many of you know, is looking at long-range planning for changes to the high school with some expansion and remodel and all of that. So I've been kind of on part of that process, and we took a tour of some new buildings at Lane Community College and I think it was North Eugene High School, and talked to the general contractor architect for that. When talking with the general contractor for Lane Community College for their building, I asked him off the record how about the basic, what we could get for the cheapest for the size that we want of 12 to 15,000 square feet. He said with a metal building, which is kind of what the Lane Community College building on the outside was mostly metal. It could be done at that size for about 5 million, but that's with no furnishings. That would be like finished interior, but no furnishings. So that would be probably the cheapest that a brand new build of that size could be done. If we're looking at other types of exteriors or building, then it could be more. Something like what they're building for the Tractor Supply store in Lebanon, that is more brick, and I think that would come in, my guesstimate, around 7 million plus land and finish it and some of the finishings. But that would be a more solid building and could be something that could also be a shelter if there's fires, floods, whatever here, depending on where we are in town too. So that's just something else to think about if we're looking at a brand new build of cost. What I've seen for other libraries across the state at about this size would be around 15 million, which is kind of where we've been looking at price-wise for the last several years. So discussion, where would you all like to start? I feel really loud today.
Why am I hearing water dripping?
Yeah, there's a drain behind the wall.
Okay.
It's a weird construction.
We have a flat roof, and so when it rains hard, the roof has to drain, and they run through the wall right behind Mr. Corley and also through this wall.
So there's weird construction to think about too with any building you buy.
You had talked about the furnishings, a building without furnishings. Would we move the current furnishings over and reuse those? Or were you thinking of getting?
We would, because the building would be bigger, we would need additional.
You'd need additional, I understand.
But some of the shelving and stuff could move. Some probably couldn't,
Okay.
because it's kind of very specific to the place it's anchored to or just made for that spot. However, for grants and such, it's a little bit easier to get interior furnishings than it is to get a building.
Okay.
It just depends on the grant too, but you can do like, I need new children's area stuff, or, a grant for that or something like that.
So one of my questions in talking about size and cost is, could we also use a metric of how much each square foot would cost depending on the type of construction? Because that sort of helps me understand building costs.
We could do that. I just don't have those numbers right
So, but
now.
in the future,
Yeah.
it would be helpful. So if we're talking about a 12 to 15,000 square foot metal building with no furnishings, what are we looking for? What are we looking at per square foot?
And then one other thing the general contractor mentioned is just purely cost wise and not running the building. A 2-story versus a 1-story of the same size could be about the same cost because a 1-story needs bigger footprint, a little bit more material, but a 2-story, you add about, I think he said about 200,000 per floor for the elevator. But this doesn't include the maintenance and the extra staffing we would need as well. But then your foundation and your roof and all that are a smaller area. So the cost can balance back and forth there.
So, but there's really, it's like trying to compare apples to oranges because the operating budget
Yeah.
with the FTEs and whatnot is a whole different ball of wax than actual building the building. Not to mention, I don't know anything about maintenance of elevators, but
Every
Sure,
library
that's-
I've talked to or worked in says don't do it.
well, and that would be my opinion, but it's only an opinion, so it would have to be based on some data.
But yeah, I can start looking at cost per square foot for different types of construction.
Well, if it was 15,000 and it's 5 million, that's $335 a square foot.
Yeah, and that's for a more metal
Metal building.
exterior, kind of like Dollar General.
Right.
So if we want to look at just the locations of the pieces of property I have listed, Adam can pull those up for us if we want. We can also have a discussion if we want to only look in certain parts of town. We just want to look at everything available. It's all up to you guys.
I think it's worthwhile to look at everything and to just scratch off the ones that we think are not suitable on this first go round. The discussion about new build versus remodel to me is a completely different discussion related to cost. So, you know, and to my mind, what's the best bang we can get for our buck?
Yeah.
So,
I would note that there's an exclamation point by the Skyline building.
There appears to be people moving in.
Yeah.
Because I do love that location, but if it's no longer going to be available.
Too much tax advantage to hold it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many square feet in that building?
The current building was just about a little under 6,000 square feet, I believe.
Sounds right. And this land, the size of the site?
I'm not sure because there's 3 lots there. So I'm not sure for the people that have it now what was included and what wasn't.
Sure.
Is that what we're looking at?
That's Skyline's roof.
And that adjoining piece is for sale, right?
The trees.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that on this list?
No, because it's a little under an acre, and I believe there's a little creek running through it.
I was going to say, is that the one that seems to, we've looked at it before and it seems to go down and have,
Yeah.
There's about a 14-foot elevation
yeah,
between the corner and the bottom, and it's very, very
very
steep.
Yeah.
Right.
You'd need retaining walls and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. So I agree. So that's not on our list.
No.
Okay.
So the first property is 2590 Long Street, which is a former church that was recently
Oh.
remodeled. They've also, since it was last sold, they've split the land a lot. It had included that piece that you were just talking about at one point. It no longer includes that, and I believe the fence line that Adam was just pointing out is no longer included either, which also had a house on it.
Yeah, so the house is separated off.
Right.
The new lot comes from Long Street straight down where my cursor is going, down this fence line, right into this first row of trees, and then up the second row.
So that's the old Lutheran church.
Yeah,
Correct.
and it's just what's left is just under 2 acres.
Okay.
It's at the top of the hill there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the north side there. Yeah.
And they did a beautiful job remodeling it.
It's been converted into a single family residence, and it is really nice inside, but there would be extensive work to go back to more of a commercial type use.
Right. It's a nice piece of property. Just
Yeah.
talking about properties.
The other thing to be aware of here is you would have to have paved parking, and none of this is currently paved.
Right.
It has the minimum hard surface approach, but to go to a commercial use, you would have to do
Right.
paved parking, and it would be a fairly sizable chunk of paving
Right.
based on the square footage.
Is
Right.
it seismically safe?
I believe it's newer construction, but I wouldn't know that for a lot of these without an engineer.
Okay.
It has been given a certificate of occupancy as a single family residence,
Okay.
but again, you'd be changing the use to
Right.
go back to commercial. The other thing that you may run into with this property, because it's L-shaped and because of the square footage, is it could require fire sprinklers.
And it would need to be at least doubled in size.
Right.
And one thing that I don't particularly care for about the property, because I drive by it every day, is the location on the corner on Long Street. It's just for people turning in and out, it could be a little bit of an issue. And obviously the driveway would have to be widened and all of that, but just that it's right at the top of the hill, right where
there's
the
a hill
corner
there.
starts.
Right.
Yeah, that's
it-
one thing that couldn't change necessarily.
Right.
What's it look like in the back over to the highway?
Oh, sorry. I
Yeah,
just went to
yeah, I
the
was
street view. So
thinking of-
there's the current driveway access.
Right.
Obviously, the trees could be removed, which would then open up the
Right.
obstruction on that side. However, there's the fence. So you
Right.
could remove one tree, but all of these
Right.
would be the neighbors. So if they
Right.
chose not to want to remove them, then the other side. So the other side is that giant ditch.
Right. Potential access to the highway though,
Well, it's a separate
Yeah.
piece of property,
Right.
and
if it was acquired as,
I don't think it's
Problem is
wide. I don't
long-
think it's wide enough there without having to build a retaining wall for
Yeah.
a road. It's steep,
Yeah.
steep.
sure. It's probably more expensive anyway. Huh?
I think that piece of property is under, I want to say around 100,000,
Huh,
I'm also,
but it's not necessarily that usable.
right.
I haven't personally been back in these trees, but based on the overhead, it looks like there may be a drainage across here. So then you would potentially have to put in a bridge, and that would be really expensive.
Right.
I can't tell from here, but my hunch tells me when there's this much greenery, there's a drainage through there as well.
Okay, Grape Street.
So that's the one we sort of talked about before. It's just right by Sankey, Upper Sankey. I don't know that it's flat enough, but I couldn't remember what we concluded last time. And it's still for sale, so I just threw it on again. It's kind of like at that corner, right? Yeah, that.
No, I'm having trouble. Oh, I see.
So the other side of the trees is Upper Sankey Park. And then it kind of goes down slope. I'm just not sure how much of the slope is there to the Boys and Girls Club. The location is decent enough. It's just I don't know if the property works, if that makes sense.
So I'm not looking well here.
It's the trees.
There'd have to be a lot of removal of those trees.
And this one did not make the short list from the previous work session.
Okay, so
But it's the best central location that we've seen so far.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the airport property. One portion that's currently listed, I think, is the far east end. And it's at 2.5 acres.
Looks very buildable.
So we've also talked in the past about the wetlands through there, and it's kind of a scattering of that feature of the property. And I'm not saying that that's a negative. I just want to point out that it's there.
We looked at that a month ago, and I believe they're mostly in this area.
Yeah.
And there was quite a bit to the west
Right.
that wasn't affected.
I'm just not sure exactly which portion is what's listed as for sale, but Cecily knows more.
From what I've heard, don't quote me, even though I'm on the record, the piece that was being talked about being sold for development is actually the western portion, which had limited wetlands. So I'm gonna guess that's this section. I could be
It's
wrong.
just an odd house number.
Okay, but
That
yeah.
would be about 46.
So basically where that western development already exists, the
So
green space.
But the abutting that western,
Correct.
the eastern part of the development.
Correct. And again, based on what we know about the wetlands, that was the most limited area of wetland.
But in general, we could say 3 acres within this property. Go with that because it's not too far apart.
So 3 acres, I believe, roughly is about where my cursor is, and then westward to the houses. Somewhere close to there.
Can you use the microphone, please?
They have to share.
Yeah. That's certainly located in and amongst a bunch of houses with a bunch of kids. And within walking distance of mine, so I'm good with that one.
Same.
I'd say for a newish development area, it's, it'd be great to have Main Street downtown-ish, but this could be a very nice location. It would have to be a new build, obviously, and all those things, but buying a portion versus the whole lot when we were looking before.
So, and in that regard, the Coulter development is going to have 160 houses eventually someday, starting with 40, and that's sort of maybe in walking distance or at least close by.
Oh, yeah, it's
families.
only about 5 blocks. This is where the new subdivision is,
Right.
where my cursor is,
Yeah.
and then this would be the proposed.
So I'm also thinking about traffic patterns because that was a big issue with the Coulter property, and that's going to get redone. And a traffic use study is in the works. Just a thought of given if we would consider that area, the old airport area. More cars, is Long Street really equipped for that kind of traffic? And also the airport which would be the northern boundary of the property, I think was recently made one way. Am I thinking that right?
No, it's just had some stop signs
Oh,
added.
the stop signs were
And I
added, okay.
believe from looking at where the houses are, the entrance would have to be along the airport road side rather than
Yeah.
Long Street.
Yeah, okay, so, I mean.
Because I don't think there's any cross streets with the houses there currently, but I could be wrong.
So, and that
No.
ingress and egress would be under the purview of the planning department, building department, because it's within the city limits. So we're not beholden to the county traffic guy. Just saying, thinking about, I mean, there's also ingress from 49th. And 49th certainly gets the traffic for the Wiley Creek area.
At this
Right.
location could be great if we decided to do like a branch system, like if have like the ones downtown at this current size and build another one at about that size. I think this could be a great location for that. The land is at a good price, I think. Um, I'm a little bit afraid of moving the entire building here when it's not Main Street and it's so far from downtown.
Yeah,
You would also have 46th, 47th, and 49th all go to Main Street,
right.
as well as the access from Airport and Long.
Yeah,
So you would potentially have 4 access points.
right.
But I could walk a block to work.
Okay, is there anything else we need to know about 5700 Airport Road?
Not that I know of.
All right, let's go on to
4310 Highway 20. I'm not sure of the complete lot size on this one, just because they didn't actually list it.
Which
But I
one is
believe-
that? Is that
It's
McCool's?
the
The
right
Mount?
across from South Fork. It's the east end. of the
further
mall.
east.
I believe the last time this was for sale, it was around an acre.
That one.
So it's this paved lot that's
Oh.
next to the commercial gas station across from South Fork.
Oh, yeah.
It's ugly right now, but it's mostly paved. Has access. With a decent enough price for being on Main Street.
Hmm.
What is full size?
I don't know what the full size of it is
Okay.
all I'm trying to say there. I put the comma in the wrong spot, so the grammar police are going to come after me.
Great location.
Yeah. And it's paved. Mm.
Not Lamoda, the other side.
Which one is it?
On the other side of the street.
Over here?
That fenced in spot.
Oh, that one.
So it's this corner lot.
So is that used to be
It was, the sign says Oasis Fencing, but that's a couple properties ago. It was U-Haul. When I moved here, that's where we returned our U-Haul.
but it also.
I'm not sure what it is right now, but I believe they're moving across the street,
Okay, anyway.
according to internet rumors today.
Okay.
Say if that one is a large enough lot, I feel like it has potential.
And the price may be good.
Yeah. Okay, now we're gonna go across the street
Okay.
to Ma's restaurant.
Okay.
So this one, the lot is a little bit smaller, but I have variously seen, some days it's listed, some days it's not. The lot next door is about 2 acres, has a number of houses and goes back a little further. Sometimes it's for sale, sometimes it's not. I have no idea what's going on there. But if it was the two together, that would be a really nice lot. Could also have some outdoor space. There's already trees and it's fairly near other stuff. The building itself has a very interesting real estate description. The kitchen has no floor. I'm not sure exactly what that means. But it's a former restaurant. It's about 4,000 square feet building right now. The lot is about an acre, I believe, right around that,
And inside it feels like a bunker.
probably.
So would this be potentially a tear down?
It could be maybe the walls are in great shape and it could be added on to.
So the lot next door that's for sale, is that on the right?
It's the grassy spot.
Grassy spot, okay,
I'm not 100% sure it's for sale today.
okay.
Tomorrow, who knows?
And potentially both properties are owned by different parties.
They came up at the same time, but potentially they are owned by different people right now.
Okay.
Are you talking
could-
about this
yeah.
grass lot? So currently they are owned by the same person.
Okay.
This one has multiple homes on it that are rentals in the back.
And it would probably be the bigger of the cleanup jobs.
Mhm.
For sure.
But it's also it's a bigger piece and nicer. I just don't know if they're together. They're both available. That would be great. If it's just Ma's restaurant, I'm not sure that's quite big enough. That lot, the one across the street, is bigger, I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe it's bigger across the street.
What size are you looking for the footprint plus the parking?
So calculations would be at about an acre
Okay,
would be great. We can work with other, but I don't really want to go too small
okay,
Yeah.
because we would do like right now we're on a smaller lot, but we have the parking lot across the street
right.
and we have street parking. And here there is obviously no street parking, so you would have to have all the parking on site, and about 40 to 60 parking spots to me would be ideal.
Right.
I know building codes wouldn't require that, but that would be a good number, I think, to have.
Yeah, I think it's actually a good idea to keep in mind that whatever the building code requires, we would add some percentage onto
Yeah.
that number.
And it would just also depend on where we are
Right.
located.
Right.
All right, and we're going to go down the street by the storage units. This one didn't give an exact address, but it's kind of tucked behind where the storage units are, about 44th, and where ODF is. It's an odd little
There is no address for this one, Megan?
no.
So which one? Where are we now on our list?
The near Main Street near 44th Avenue.
Oh, okay. I
So
got it.
we're,
So there's like a long driveway from Main Street and then like 2 acres back behind.
And
flag
that's,
lot.
and that's not the green area you were talking about.
No,
Oh, this is a whole other piece
this is
of property.
another.
I don't know where I'm looking on this one, Megan.
I
Where's
don't
South
remember.
Fork?
I believe this one. City Hall. I believe, I think here. And so would this be the long driveway?
Yeah, I think so. See if I can get it up. Come on.
I guess I meant where was South Fork.
I believe it's this one.
I really wish the realtors would actually list addresses. And also that for commercial real estate, that they'd actually like all have the same property listings like Zillow does for home. See if I can get it to come up.
So the other storage unit. Okay. So it's back to this lot. So this is the long driveway where my cursor is, back to this lot.
Okay.
Sorry, there's still several storage units in the area.
Yeah.
And the one there, they just expanded as well from this picture.
And so the property in front of this flag lot is,
I believe that's the logging company.
Yeah.
oh,
Let's drop him.
I'm really not in favor of flag lots. I think the ingress and egress would be a problem. And it's off Main Street, so signage would be important.
But it would look a little bit more industrial for those driving by. Like they would be like, this is weird place for a library. But the lot size is good. It's the only reason it's there. And it's flat. If you just want to diss this one right now, that's fine.
Say that again?
If you just want to ditch this one right now,
Yeah.
that's fine.
So we're talking about Main Street near 44th
Yeah.
Avenue. That's what we're,
It looks like it's directly across the street, the driveway access from Lamoda. For
Okay.
reference, that's the Lamoda building.
okay.
So directly across the
Across the
street.
Okay.
They have a bright sign out front.
It's one of
I'm okay with ditching this one.
okay. If we want to go to 1744 Main Street, which I think was one of our top ones last time.
That was McCool.
Yeah. The front office area, not the
Right.
portion in the back.
But it's still over an acre, which is
Yeah.
favorable, and it looks like it's mostly paved. I don't know what's behind the building.
Is that Safeway next to it? Yeah, okay. That would be a good spot next to Safeway.
Yeah, so it's just this square in the front, kind of bordering Safeway parking lot. I don't know that either of the buildings would be usable to do
Right.
anything with them.
Right. We had discussed that. In
So it would be a rebuild. It's a great location related to the schools, high school and junior high at least. It's on Main Street. You would get traffic from Safeway,
Yeah.
and we'd be good neighbors and build a pathway between the two.
And for what we know, there would be enough parking places for our needs.
I believe so, yeah, with that
an
size of
acre
lot,
and a
yeah.
third, yeah.
Um, is that one still one of the top choices?
Yes.
Okay. Next to 2414 Main Street, there's 12 acres behind the Dollar Tree.
And that's an incredible price for 12 acres.
They just dropped the price too.
And let's see where that is.
It's there's not completely flat, but we also wouldn't need the entire 12 acres. So it does
Okay.
not include any of those buildings. It's just the grass, the tree area that ends up being about 12 acres back in there.
And what's the access?
Access is on 24th.
Okay.
And I know there's eventually some changes coming to that portion of 24th.
Okay, I know.
Regarding
24.
access, but I'm not sure where that's at with ODOT and all that.
Yeah, because 24th is also potentially on the north side and access to the quarry property, maybe, etc.
And this is also right across the street from Public Works. So when I
Yeah.
need them, they could just come right over. So I think it just goes to the railroad tracks. It doesn't include any of that. So that's not really an issue. But it's not necessarily the flattest piece.
Okay, yeah, we're talking about the north side of the highway. I
Yeah.
got it now.
Mhm.
Okay.
Because across the street would be where Skyline is.
Mhm. Yeah, okay. I get Dollar Tree and Family Dollar. It's all very confusing. Who's what, where?
Currently, this property has no access on the east side of it. It's all off of 24th, and there isn't an access built yet, but there's some room.
Right.
That's where the city is working at, looking at
Yeah,
So,
access to Quarry Park?
yeah.
yeah, so the FAC is
Mm-hmm.
Right. Is
down
there.
at the end. This is the railroad tracks.
Right.
I think I went by. So this is the driveway to the RV dump station and FAC.
Right.
This highlighted area is the city public works.
Right.
And so it would be through this area. And then it goes up towards, was that Freedom Hill Church?
And there's pretty much no development on the north side of the railroad tracks. It's just open for now.
Yeah, that's
I
all.
think it's the
Right.
combination between Old Mill and Quarry Park.
Right.
Yeah, most of that I believe is Josh's.
Right.
Victor
Do we have
property.
any
Right.
idea how far it goes east?
I don't believe it goes past the church property. So it's just 12 acres.
Yeah, it's somewheres in here.
So maybe the eastern part then has a slope to it as well because the church is up a hill.
Yeah. But I'm saying I don't know if there's enough flat at the 24th side that it would be buildable or not.
Well, it certainly would be interesting to take a look at that and see how flat it was.
And any of these we could always go visit too, or have somebody tour us around.
So as long as we're on this property, Adam, if you scroll to the east a bit and you see Clark Mill, which is the next major street.
Mhm.
So you all know that Heavy Shot is moving. And I saw a for sale sign on that hillside. I don't know.
I'm not sure if that's for the heavy shot or if that's for this one that was the-
That's my question because Heavy Shot's different from the other one.
correct. This one has been marketed. This one was a federal repossession.
So I just bring that up because I happen to know about it. I also know that there's some big pit on that property that would be difficult to handle, but it's
So
There.
this bottom section from Clark Mill is owned by a different property owner. And that property owner has some access closer to the railroad tracks. Give me just a minute and let me see if I can bring up the Lynn County Assessor's map that'll show you what the property lines are.
I like that you always go back to our current location.
also I'm not clear about what kind of shape the Heavy Shot buildings are in, if they could be refurbished, remodeled, whatever.
Yeah, and I think that's a question for absolutely any building.
Yeah.
Is that we would definitely need more thorough look and see how the building actually, what shape it's actually in.
Because that was a manufacturing site, so it's a whole different kind of kettle of fish there. So I would just like to put that on the radar, just because we don't know about it and the location's not bad. Clark Mill access is not bad. and it's adjacent to these other properties we've already.
Yeah, there's a lot,
About-
there's a couple areas in town. There seems to be a lot of properties coming up in a certain area, few block area.
So it looks like this property is multiple properties that add up to 12 acres. This little chunk is a hair over 2, almost 3, and then this one is 9. But then it stops back here. This is a separate property owner. And this property owner that maintains this one for a potential roadway is also the one that owns these chunks back here. But those are your property lines.
Okay.
So there's a chunk there that's over 2 acres, and then this one,
Right.
and then the little corner,
Right.
which I believe it's not reflected, but I've talked to the property owners and I believe he was trying to do a property line adjustment to just incorporate that
Yeah.
little chunk.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's happened yet, but he was working on that.
Such an odd little triangle.
Yeah. And that's probably not a really complicated administrative process. So.
The issue he was having is there's some railroad right of way through
Oh.
here, and then I believe this was a former county property.
Okay, so let's just think about our time. We're about halfway through our allotted time, and we're getting close to the end of our list.
So we really only have like one more. The other one, the car lot one, we've looked at
Okay.
previously.
Okay,
So 29th and Long,
right.
there's 2 acres. It's for sale. Which is again in the same general area.
Is there a lot?
29,
There's no address on that one either.
No.
29.
It's the trees, I think, around the mobile home there. Yeah.
This.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I believe there is a creek in this space. But I've also heard it's completely buildable and flat. So, but driving by, there's a creek there and a little bit of a dip in the road. So,
And is there a house there along? Is that
there is on the corner that's not, that square that's not included. The single wide mobile home.
Okay, I'm just trying to keep up. So that white thing there is its own little square
Yeah.
thing.
So this is basically the trees.
The trees, okay.
I think that's the 2 acres.
Well,
The access, yeah, there's that definitely, but it says it's flat, so
oh,
it doesn't look flat to me.
no. So, my opinion, I'm really not excited about putting any effort into Long Street, property on Long Street. We have options on Main Street.
Yeah.
So, that's my 2 cents worth about that.
So, and then the other one is just that car lot out on 47th, which is just under an acre.
Right.
We liked it previously, so we don't really need to go over it again.
Right. It's probably not big enough too for the
yeah.
parking requirements.
So that's what is currently listed as for sale in town. That was the requirement, under $1 million and at about an acre.
What
So-
happened to, sorry,
Go ahead.
what happened to some of those empty buildings downtown that we had talked about?
They're
Save
not currently on the market
Okay,
for various reasons still.
okay.
So discussion. What do you want to do from here? Do you want to just keep waiting and seeing if a better piece opens up? What are we feeling for location?
Well, this list is not really different than what we've been looking at for quite some time.
There's a few new ones, but everything seems to be in really the same general areas.
Yeah, the Mods property is new. But yeah, so there's a couple of new ones. So I'm not that, again, opinion. I'm not that interested in waiting to see what else is going to show up. I think we have some viable options. So if we could get more information on the, say, 4 properties that we've kind of highlighted here, that would be a good step forward. And
And which were the 4, just to make absolutely clear?
so, I
I know
guess,
1744 Main Street.
yeah. So for me, it would be the 4219 Highway 20, which is that Moz?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's Moz. And
Across the street was 4310.
4310, yes, that one as well. So, 2 McCool's.
The 1744 Main.
Right. I'm a little bit back and forth about the property we were just talking about behind Dollar Tree, but given where it's located, I think there's some attraction there. 24th Avenue to me is a okay access point. I don't like the fact that it's a whole bunch of properties that are all cut up from each other, but trying to keep the vision broad for now.
Well, and if they're selling it as 12, they might have been able to adjust some of those already.
Right, right.
What I would like would be a proposal from the staff. Like, we like this one and we like it for these reasons. That's would be my preference. And then as the board, we could go, yeah, we think you're right, or we think, I'm not so sure about that.
So you're asking the staff to make a decision about one of these properties?
No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not.
Just pluses and minuses for
Yeah.
each of the 4.
Which ones
Right.
they
Yeah,
like the
for each
best.
of the
Yeah.
4. Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
Well, I personally, I like the 1.37 acres at 1744 Main Street, but
Mhm.
I'm not a professional librarian and I don't spend my life thinking about this. So,
And I'm not a professional architect.
So
well,
I
we'll
would,
hire somebody for that.
Yeah.
I would agree with Jim that the McCool property seems to be the most desirable given location, and it seems to be big enough. So those are 2 important criteria. The rest is TBD.
Yeah, and that one is on my list. I like that one too. But my question is on the one behind the Dollar Tree, the 12.3 acres. That there was that smaller lot that was only what, 2 or 3 acres in front of it.
Right.
Is that one for sale?
As a standalone.
So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
issue with getting the little one without the bigger one is access.
Well, it's the same street. I mean, you'd access it the
It
same
is,
way,
but
and there's no
the
access.
small piece is kind of a flag lot connected to the big one. I'm trying to get back there.
So you'd have to get the big one
A
with the
right-of-way.
access and then somehow figure out how to get it into the little one.
Yeah, there's a right of way, sounds like.
So there's a weird little flagpole, but
Yeah.
it's not very big, and
It's not big enough for a driveway.
I'm not sure for a commercial purpose that it
Okay.
would
Okay.
suffice at the throat,
Okay.
especially with the changes, the proposed changes coming to 24.
24th, right.
Okay.
And so the larger access comes from the bigger piece.
Um, Yeah.
And it's kind of a little weird flag lot. And also this side has far more terrain on it than this side.
It has far more what?
terrain.
Terrain issues, topographical stuff.
Okay.
It can all be done. It's
Where you want to spend your money.
exactly.
Well, it's just that we don't need 12 acres.
Right.
No, that doesn't preclude that, maybe after we build,
Right.
get our
Put
parking
a
lot
little
that, hey-
Park or something.
yeah, we can but water park, or sell it or whatever.
Yeah, I get it.
As far as I know, unless we're Hawaii, God's not making any new real estate. So it doesn't hurt to own more. You could always sell off a portion if there were a way to make a deal somewhere.
And we could also have a library, like walking path and park area that's a little more natural park or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Which you wouldn't have with an already paved, entirely paved area.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I'm thinking about is trying not to have this be really complicated. And so how many variables are we going to add into any potential site consideration? Because that affects you all. And that's time and money. So just saying that's a consideration for me.
And also just looking forward for funding.
Yeah.
If we need to go to the ballot for a bond measure or something like that, 2027 to me looks like it would be the best option, just because, and not sure which election in 2026 the school district is looking at their bonds.
Mm.
I don't know of any yet for 2027, but that doesn't mean there's not already somebody thinking. The current economy, I don't think is that great, but we're not ready to go out to the voters now. We can't. I think
Right.
we've already almost missed the deadline for the spring ballot anyway. Yeah, so we can't get our act together that fast. But we could, acquire a piece of property and start the process with architects and engineers and look at, donors, and then look at what we have need additional funding for. Currently, with some federal programs, there are some zero interest loan options. If we need to go out for more money, there is a loan option that could be zero interest for us, which is good. But we'd still have to borrow the money and all that. So that's just something to look at as well. This is the actual building shovel ready is a few years off, but if we have the property and we start having a plan, then we can start working on grants and other funding. And that's kind of where I want us to be, is got it. Now let's start working on how to build it.
So I like that future think that you're thinking about potentially, 3 or 4 years down the road, where might a money stream come from? That's an important part of the picture.
What you just said it's got squishy edges, but it sounds like a proposal.
Yeah, I just
like
don't
it.
have a property.
Sure.
I can do pluses and minuses for every piece of property that's occupied or not in
Mhm.
town. I think Cecily would go with me on, we have ideas for every place. It's just a matter of, I don't know that there's any place right now for the library that's 100% perfect.
Well, there won't be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, even if like both sides of Main Street were completely empty with current property lines, even, it would still be a little bit difficult. So I can absolutely write up my opinions and work with staff and get that for the next board meeting next month. That's not a problem. We all have opinions. The main consensus amongst library staff is to stay within downtown and be closer to the high school and junior high.
So
And by downtown, that's pretty much just not going up the hill by
okay, past
Skyline.
Yeah, past Clark.
I don't know what else. If once there's something else there, I'm not sure what we're going to call it. But since we still call it Molly's, and haven't lived here when it was Molly's, it's probably always going to be Skyline.
No,
Or the bowling alley.
Molly's and Skyline aren't not the same.
No, just for
Yeah.
geographic.
Yeah.
Actually,
Well,
it'd probably be the bowling alley.
The bowling alley. Molly's is downtown by where
Yeah.
Sweet Home.
But we
Cafe
still
or
call it
something.
Molly's, and it hasn't been that for who knows how long.
I know. Well, because it was Molly's for so long, and we all want Molly's back, but we can't bring Molly back. Well, it sounds like closest to town is that 1744
Right.
Main Street next to Safeway. That's
Unless I can talk the New Era into selling their building. That whole corner there. You can sell the liquor store for us too, right?
now that was my dad's drugstore. You can have it.
I mean, it's something on Main Street, I think, would be the most ideal.
So McCool's keeps coming up as number one, and
And
yes,
then we can look into if there's any other issues going on with the property because it has been industrial as well.
Right.
Or if there's any other access issues or easements or whatever happening there.
Soil contamination, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Or how it smells with the sanitation site across the street.
So again, my opinion about moving forward is we've got options, and waiting is not going to help options that we already have. So let's look at that, the McCool's, and see if we can work with it.
Okay, we can do that.
And waiting's not going to help financially either.
Right.
I just know this one's been on for sale for about 2 years.
Yeah. Right.
I agree. I think moving forward with something, it would be very beneficial, and with the 1744.
So what else do you need from us?
I think that's about all.
I would like to keep these other three properties kind of in the wings, depending, if the 1744 really gets axed, then we can think about some of these other options.
I think it'd be good to see a pros and cons list for each of the
Yeah.
properties.
Yeah.
I can absolutely do that.
Yeah.
And then I know staff has some ideas or concerns for every piece of property in town as well as me.
Well, and that's important for us because you're the people with boots on the ground in this building, and you know what your operations are like. So.
And I know hearing from some other people in town that they would like it to remain in the core downtown area. And I think that would also still help with revitalization of downtown.
It would also help with recruiting money for later projects.
Yeah, and as we've seen with the T-Mobile grant that Lebanon just tried for, they still ended up with money.
Right.
And that's that grant is something they do every year for that one was mostly focused on football, I think, but
Right.
they do those hometown grants all the time.
Yeah.
And they want to get that competition and everything going down.
No matter what we do, there'll be some people in the public unhappy and go to Facebook and troll you all over the place.
But
But
they already do that.
so what?
Right.
And whatever, I mean, before any purchase or donation or any of that, we still would need to bring this to city council.
Oh, absolutely. Right. Yeah, we are recommending.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's clear.
just saying it for some of the people in the back over there named Sarah.
So is there any further discussion about these issues right now at this meeting? So are we done? So I can adjourn this meeting at 3:59 p.m.
And then we have a board meeting at
Yes.
4:30. A quick break.
Are you serving refreshments?
I have a